will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
Yeah, nigga, this war. I'm taking bodies on the floor. I'm with it all. I talk to my demons and I see the writings on the wall. Niggas is dying when it's over. I get excited for them calls. And no ain't crying when he gone. Cause Brody was fighting for the cause. I do this shit for my brothers. We do this shit for each other. The whole world watching the movie. So everybody see me suffer. They done JFK my demon. Now bro not breathing. Like too short. So if I tell you I love you, I mean it. I can show you the demon I seen. Cause deep inside is where I keep it. Look at the gang and I pledge your allegiance. So we don't got no secret. I'm what they can't be. That's why they can't stand me. To get broke back, I give up these Grammys. Cause ain't nothing bigger than the family. I'm too blunt, they ain't understand me. I need help, they ain't wanna hear me. They not us, I don't want them near me, You better fear me. Them niggas all frauds. Look at the scoreboard. Yeah, this is all core. Nigga, I'm on board. Nigga, I'm on board and she on force. When Trump called, I was
Tyler, what up, bro?
winning in the Joe Laws. Ask Balenciaga what the store cost.
Young and thuggin', now a bit west up. I'm so I don't care about death, I ain't dying yet, ain't my time yet. When I go, I'ma be in the president chair. When I pull up, have your jewels tucked till I dip off the set or get hit for that. I ain't dip set,
Yes,
turn
sir.
camera on, all the bitches wanna take a pic with yet. Nigga, now I'm kicking back. Drug dealer turned diplomat. Similar, I'm a project baby. I have dreams that I'm around here.
Yeah.
Gave me a proclamation to my birthday to a holiday. My sniper name Mustafa gave me a letter from Arnold Schwarzenegger. My partner in the Navy, he high ranking, you know, on sniper game. I ain't even see this many black people free during the Obama days. Told her she can have anything she want, just not my dollar chain. Disappointed trying to put me on child support, but it's in my mama name.
What are you up
Everybody know
to,
that
Tyler?
immigrant
How's your night
friend I
going?
have, but I ain't friendly. You hear niggas say they did something to the bill, then they had to be Clinton. I'm putting on niggas like Vladimir and shit, and I don't need bitches. They keep asking my Trump, but I don't speak on family business. I say Bud gang still fuck for real, and you don't condone the snitching. Pulling up Mario logo, the money Carlos sitting on sixes. Allen and Brad record bad to get my out the feds when I was stressing. Gotta go God his thanks to feel the power.
Oh, nice, dude. That's awesome. I had to take a little bit of time off.
I'm here today to announce a brand new plan to deliver more opportunity, more security, more fairness.
I'm what they can't be. That's why they can't stand me. To get broke back, I give up these Grammys. Cause ain't nothing bigger than the family. I'm too blunt, they ain't understand me. I need help, they ain't wanna hear me. They not us, I don't want them near me. You better fear me. Niggas all frauds. Look at the scoreboard. Yeah, this is all core. Nigga, I'm on board. Nigga, I'm on board and she on force. When Trump called, I was on tour. That was my winning in the Joe Laws. Ask Balenciaga what the store cost. You know we party hard.
Let's go. Okay, so chat. We are getting very close to getting the House of Representatives in our favor as well. I'm not sure exactly where it is. From what I was hearing, we are on pace to get 220. This isn't right. No, this is. I don't think this one's right. Maybe. Yeah, I think this is it. So we're on pace to get 222 or 224 or something like that. So we got a Senate control, we got the we got the presidency, we just need to get the House, and we got the trifecta. So let's hope that we can get it. We'll see definitely.
Now, this afternoon, we're still working to see which party will gain control of Congress. This after Republicans captured the majority in the Senate, but the House, they're still counting votes. Ryan Nobles has more on the balance of power.
Which we know why they're still counting votes.
Congress is going to look a lot different next year. For the first time in 4 years, Republicans are poised to take control of the Senate, flipping Democratic seats in Montana, Ohio, and West Virginia, while holding the state of Texas.
The results tonight, this decisive victory should shake the Democrat establishment to its core.
But while their victories have guaranteed a majority, Democrats were able to limit the losses by picking up wins in blue wall states Donald Trump won. Incumbent Tammy Baldwin survived in Wisconsin, and Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin held on to an open seat in Michigan.
That's all right.
Tens of thousands of Michiganders voted for Donald Trump and Alyssa Slotkin on the same ballot. and it is my responsibility to get things done for Michiganders, no matter who's in office.
In the House, the picture is less clear.
A couple
dozen seats remain uncalled, and Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, who would
That's how it should be, though. You still do what's right for your people, regardless of who the president is and whether you like him or not. That's what Nancy Pelosi's problem was.
be the first.
She let her hatred for Donald Trump cloud all of her judgment on what she should have been doing while in Congress.
Black Speaker of the House.
Which I just seen that she just ran after she retired. She's back in the House of Representatives again.
Should Democrats take the majority, arguing the House is still very much in play, and adding we must count every vote. But the remaining map favors Republicans, and the current House Speaker Mike Johnson expressed confidence he would.
Everybody, please make sure to hit that like for me if you could. It really helps out a lot.
Keep his job.
We're going to have enough numbers to run the agenda through the House and the Senate, and President Trump is going to be a transformational president.
But no matter what, the margins will be tight, and Democrats are already vowing to keep a check on the new administration at every turn.
The final makeup of the 190.
So we'll see. I don't know if it'll be.
This afternoon, we're still working to see which party will gain control of Congress. This after Republicans.
I don't know if it'll be decided tonight yet or not, but we'll see. I think it's more than this. I think it's like 216 to 210 actually. I don't know if this is 100% accurate.
You need to check out multi-pants. They're cargo pants with a straight leg fit. The fabric is also very stretchy for cargo pants, making these really comfortable. I would take these to exercise no problem.
Hello, everyone. I'm Judge Janine Pirro, along with Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, Katie Pavlich, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five.
The bigger question.
Goodness, immediately, that really made it almost impossible to have.
Oh, that's my dude. I like this new Jose. This is my favorite Jose. Legit, my favorite one. Do you guys see this shit right here? Do you guys really fucking see what she's saying? I wish I could go back automatically to where I need to be. Ooh. I'm not going to be able to find it. This is pathetic. This is extremely pathetic. I'm sorry. How are you going to blame it on Biden that you didn't have a primary? What? How is it Biden's fault?
Have a primary at that time. If it had been much earlier, it would.
You could have still had one after he left. You could have had an immediate primary to figure out who's running for your presidential candidate. It would have only taken you 2 extra days, if that, to do it. Maybe one day, have a primary, vote on it, bow, good to go.
Would have been different. So, Harold, what are they resisting? It's only been like 72 hours.
So good to be back with you again. I would encourage everybody
to
be gracious in losing and winning, and accept the victory.
How happy was he that she lost? Biden was so happy, and I love it. I want to send him one of these hats.
It is the tradition in our country for governors to...
I wonder if they wrote his name in. What up, Alpha?
Say on behalf of their states, speak on behalf of their states. I'm reminded when President Obama was in the White House and the health care package passed, it was called Obamacare, but officially called the Affordable Care Act. There were a number of states that thought that that law violated the rights of their citizens, and many of them came together, rightly so, and filed lawsuits. Most were unsuccessful, but they filed those lawsuits, and they took steps to try to, what they say, guard their citizens from the harms of the federal government. The 10th Amendment allows, and other amendments allow them to do that. I'm reminded also that when the Roe v. Wade was overturned by Dobbs, there were states, this power was given back to the states, and states have passed laws to try to form laws that try to reflect the will of the people wherever they may live, be it Arkansas, Mississippi, or New York, California, wherever the state may be. I'm even reminded President Obama campaigned on the fact that he wanted to close Guantanamo Bay, and he couldn't. I think one of the challenges that President Trump will face, as all presidents do, is reconciling the ease of making campaign promises with the reality of making those promises policy. And that's really the rub in politics. How do you do that? President Trump will have an advantage for many reasons, probably the foremost reason being if the Congress, if the House turns out to be a Republican House, President Trump will have the House, the Senate, and obviously the White House.
If we get the House, the Senate, the White House, and the Supreme Court, it's a fucking wrap. This country is back to us.
And a majority of people on the court who lean or have been appointed by conservatives, or Republicans that is, on his side. So again, I'm not surprised by this, Judge. This is an American tradition, states standing up to what they believe their state, people in their state want. And the good thing about it is if you think they're wrong or I think they're right or vice versa, ultimately voters will make that final determination by either electing those state legislatures or governors or re-electing them, or for that matter, unseating them.
How do we unify the country when the left is already refusing to work with Donald Trump? You've got Governor Healy. I'm not going to allow my state police to work with with President Trump. Here's my favorite, Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey. He says, I'll fight to the death. I'll fight back with every fiber of my being. Except Donald Trump got 1.9 million votes in New Jersey, which was 600,000 more than Phil Murphy did when he ran, Jesse.
Yeah, some of it's posturing, and you expect that from Democrats. They're not always the best losers. Unlike Republicans who take it easily, and we're just class to join up. The resistance is coming into focus. I remember the first Trump term, it was like Schiff, Comey, Mueller. Now it looks like it's the blue state governors. And the 2028 presidential race has started. So the best way to raise your profile if you're a Democrat is to clash with Trump. Now, does that help the people you represent?
No, because it doesn't do anything good, because it's just going to cause more division. But that's fine, because we want to divide ourselves from the evil. Now comes the justice phase, yes. And David, did you see all the stuff that's going on too? Like Putin wants to call for ceasefire, Hamas wants to call for ceasefire. Hold on, let me see. I seen a thing somebody sent me earlier. Let me see if I can find it. I don't want to look for it too long. Let's see something. I can't find it, but there's like, dude, everybody, like China, even China's about to call for world peace, and they're done with the shit. Bro, it's wild.
No, but they don't care. It's not about that. It's just about politics. So the big battle is going to be energy at first. And Trump might not win every battle there because the states control their own energy, electricity, and water and all that. But he can definitely jawbone the hell out of them from the White House podium and make them look stupid and make them change their ways there. Also, homelessness. Remember, they're going to have the Olympics in L.A. in 4 years. Trump's going to be president. And there's, 50,000 homeless people per block in L.A., so they're going to have to get that together. And I think he'll be effective in that because everybody doesn't want to embarrass the country. And then deportation. They're going to lose the states on this because that is a federal issue. Yeah. And there will be massive clashes because you're going to have cameras out there making sure.
I love it, David. I love it.
Sure that they capture the images of ICE coming along and taking these people away, and they deserve to be taken away. Sometimes you have to do tough stuff, but AOC is going to be there tying herself to migrants. It's going to be hysterical. But sometimes dad has to do the tough thing. Doesn't make it always look great, but it's the right thing to do, and that's what we expect.
You know, Katie, the interesting thing is that in California, I mean, Gavin Newsom can think he's going to, he's going to be the tip of the spear in the resistance.
Gavin Newsom is never be nothing. He'll never be nothing.
But
I don't even know why he's a governor.
London Breed lost. Gascon, that horrible DA in Los Angeles, lost. Proposition 36, which allowed for the increasing of penalties from Prop 47 that Kamala was in support of, that won. And, you know, they're saying that they're geared up for the resistance.
Yeah. Let's talk about the will of the people, especially in California. Donald Trump flipped 9 counties in California.
Yeah.
Prop 36, as you mentioned, passed in all counties in California. 58 counties passed it because they want more law and order. They want punishment for criminals. And they want.
I feel like Musk is going to go into the government as soon as he gets into the White House, and it's going to be like Office Space. Like, what do you do here? And you're just going to see people walk out the White House that do nothing.
Safer streets.
But steal our money.
It wasn't even close.
Right.
California is the #1 state in the country for people leaving the state, not coming into the state because of the policies of the far left. A lot of the autopsies so far we've seen this week, which will continue on the Democratic side, is that they have been beholden to the far left, and it has doomed them in this landslide election, not just at the federal level, but also in a lot of these local races.
This was a landslide election. And it's looking like we might get the House, too. It's not for sure yet, but it's looking like we might get it.
So Democrats have an opportunity now to look at this and say, okay, we could actually work with Donald Trump. Clearly, the people of our states want us to be closer to the right side of the political spectrum than the far left side. The entire map shows it with the red arrows all going to the right. And yet you have people like Gavin Newsom doubling down on these failed policies that voters in his state have rejected.
Yep. It's a great point. And what about, Greg, those senators who put out those commercials that, you know, I worked with Donald Trump. What are they going to do?
I don't know. It's a good question. I'll think about it this weekend. I don't think this is about Democrats versus Republicans. I don't think it's about right versus left.
All is well. How
I
you
think
doing?
that fight is over, and it's too small.
I love it, bro. I love it, David. I feel like this country is headed in the right direction. And I'm not going to lie. I would have rather see Donald Trump to have 2 terms in a row, but I felt like this was needed because he had to get all the establishment rhinos away from him. He had to get Mike Pence away from him. He had to get all these worthless people away from him. Now he's building a team that's like a fucking team of Avengers. This is like the greatest thing that I feel like that could happen to our country right now.
There's a larger battle that is way bigger than that. It's us versus the brainwash. You know, if nothing was real before Trump was elected, it's not going to change. But some people didn't buy it, and they had a superpower, and that superpower was their ability to see what was true.
If we'll control the House, brother, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Donald Trump will be able to get everything done that we need done.
Understood.
He'll be able to get the immigration problem done. He'll be able to get the inflation down. He'll be able to get the interest rates down. He'll be able to make life so much more affordable. I'll show you guys this video here in a minute. Actually, I'll show you guys right now. It talks a lot about the tariffs and hold on one second. Let's see. Reposted. This one.
Watch this economics professor explain Trump's tariffs.
Well, the income tax currently costs the American people $2.4 trillion a year. Trump proposes to replace it with tariffs of 20% on everybody but China, who gets an extra special 60% tariff. Altogether, that might bring in about $900 billion a year. This would grow America.
I think it's like 216 to 209 or something like that. We need like 2 more seats, I believe.
America's economy like rocket fuel. Near term, we're talking a 20% increase in the economy, so about a $15,000 raise for the typical American family. Note that's on top of the $18,000 of income tax you would no longer have to pay. Knock off $3,000 for the tariffs, and you get about $30,000 in additional income for the typical American family, close to $3,000 per month. We might expect a doubling of annual economic growth. So 5% growth would be the new normal. Your kids would be 3 times richer than you, as it used to work in America. If we simply copy countries like Singapore, we might save around about $2 trillion or more. if a president can sell it to American voters, 30,000 is a chunk of change, Congress will go along out of sheer self-preservation. Plus, the bake sales would be lit.
That's economics professor Dr. Peter St. Onge, PhD, explaining exactly how replacing the income tax with tariffs would help all of Americans.
Makes sense.
Trump has not even been president-elect for more than 48 hours, and already all of the major wars are ending. As soon as he was elected, China released a statement saying that they stand with the people of America and they are excited to have President Trump back again. And what's insane is that we've practically been in a Cold War with China over the last 4 years. Tensions have been extremely high as Biden and Xi Jinping were barely having meetings anymore, so this statement congratulating us is a really big deal. Not to mention Hamas just called for an immediate ceasefire with Israel, and this is the first time that they have called for a ceasefire in the past year. The conflict has been a major talking point for voters everywhere, so this statement came as a complete shock as it looks like we're nearing world peace. Not to mention Vladimir Putin, who has not had anything good to say about America in the last few years, congratulated Trump as well in an interview and said that he looks forward to having his first phone call with him back as president. And let's not
President Trump
has
President Trump looked at the Taliban leader.
You guys, I love this. I love this story. I hope so, David. I love this story, though.
And said this: I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be conditions-based withdrawal. And the translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him what I said.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's such bullshit.
Pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and walked out the room. Do you know for 18 months not a single American was killed in Afghanistan?
It's called peace through strength. That's what that is. Look at the doc giving his thoughts.
You guys know we don't talk politics on this channel. We don't.
Dude, it was so good,
But
Joseph.
I think today might be one of those exceptions for the two-time. I felt like we were in a different dimension the past 4 years. I don't know what the fuck was going on there. Jesus. Holy shit. You know, that Joe Rogan, Elon Musk podcast was a very strong one to really cap off the campaign. The last 4 years, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it woke mind virus, whatever. I don't know how it's labeled. Whatever that is. Like, I call it a different breed of thinking and people. They fucked us, right? Multiple times. 2020, 2024, man. They did. Everyone that was directly involved with our ban from that platform, which was obviously run by a particular ideology and breed of people.
No more wars. It's beautiful.
They fucked us, man.
I like what he says right here, though.
Like I said, I'm selfishly talking about this, but on a personal level, Mrs. Assassin and I, it was important. I think America showed up, man. Let's get back to fucking common sense. God damn.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit.
I love memes. I love the Joe Biden memes. Look at this one.
Hey, Ro, tell Miss Carnes who you are for Halloween.
Okay, let's see. Come on. You know, when they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next president of the United States, enough was enough, and I said,
no, I don't think I saw that one.
Run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
I don't know about you guys, but I think that Travis Kelce might be the next O.J. Simpson.
This is a good one.
Feels good in here. The other side's got a lot of crazy endorsements. Swift, Eminem, Leo DiCaprio, Beyonce. Every day the Democratic Party looks more and more like a P. Diddy party.
Oh, there. Oh, okay. He said, oh, okay. I know what you guys wanted now. We see it. Look at Antonio Brown. I love it. That's so funny.
Hey, Barack, let me tell your bitch ass something, nigga. You ain't gonna tell a nigga who the fuck was. You acting like this bitch motherfucking Rosa Parks. You acting like Kamala motherfucking some shit. The bitch was. You still ain't gonna tell a nigga who the fuck the vote for, nigga. You know what I mean? You telling us to vote for this bitch like she did shit for us, like when she been in the office, like you did for us when you was in the office. Oh, you ain't did shit for us, huh, nigga? Yeah, we back all day.
That's great.
Today's Kamala's birthday.
Well, I love this shit.
She's turning 60 years old. Do you want to say anything?
Yes, I would say happy birthday, Kamala. She's turning 60.
Did you get her some fries?
I think I'll get her some flowers.
Why not debate her
Maybe
again?
I'll get her some fries. You're right, that might be. I'll give her some McDonald's. I'll get her a McDonald's hamburger.
Thank you.
Well, I love that.
Good that nothing in the media is real. It just so happens that Trump supporters, they reached that conclusion first because they became the target of lies and hoaxes. They were red-pilled before the Kamala supporters. And that will happen later. I talked about the Gelman effect, the amnesia effect last week. That's when a person who normally trusts the media finds them untrustworthy on topics they understand. So a doctor might trust everything he reads on the front page, except that
Batista Ventura easy win. Let me ask you something, David. Why the fuck do you think Jesse Ventura endorsed Kamala the way he did? Not saying it's important or anything, because he's not important, but wasn't willing to endorse Biden. I don't understand it. Like, she literally came out and said that she wouldn't do anything different. She was his vice president. She was in charge of things that were... But, like, why? He's not anybody. Like, I feel like Jesse Ventura is like a nobody. Like, nobody listens to him. I didn't even know he was around anymore until more recently. It just doesn't make sense to me.
on medical insurance because he knows that's BS. Because when you know a topic, then suddenly you see the media for what it is. And that's what happened to Trump supporters after they read articles about Trump supporters. Wait, if they say that I'm a racist.
You got to also remember he was telling the truth, and that's true. Hey, we also got Chris Jericho. And we got Jake Hager. Dude, we got more than just them three, dude. We got Chris Jericho, we got Jack Swagger. Dude, we got a lot of people.
Or a militant. What are they lying about everywhere else? Turns out everything. Because right now, this week, when you go outside, you got to look really hard for post-election outrage. I mean, we have to look for it.
It's true.
It's on The View, Kimmel.
Even if we didn't have the entire UFC, we got Dana White. That's all we need. And Joe Rogan.
MSNBC. But go outside. Everything's calm. Mainly because the American public spoke definitively.
Yeah.
There's no gray area here. You can no longer act like you rule. We spent many years with a tiny segment of elite society that tricked the world into thinking they were the majority while pushing marginal beliefs, trans beliefs. You know, 10 voices on Twitter pretended to be 10,000 and we bought it. Well, no one's buying it anymore. We are actually the majority. We probably were all along. We were just too scared. So the calm that you're seeing right now is evidence that the hysteria portrayed by the media is no longer taken seriously. America got red-pilled. Now, the rest of us have to take a lot of these Kamala supporters and show them how they were tricked as well. Show them the Fine People hoax. You know, sit them down. Go like, this is what they said. This was the truth. That's the tentpole of all hoaxes. So the first step is to gently show people how every major anti-Trump story was a narrative created in reverse. That's why this, you know, when you talked about the media looking at immigration, and that doesn't matter. No one's buying it. No one is listening to MSNBC, CNN, reading the New York. That shit is done.
Say it in your face, Harold.
I'd remind you all, be gracious.
Love you, Harold. I'll be gracious tonight when we get home.
Yeah. Oh, that didn't take long. President-elect Trump is already delivering big results on the border crisis.
Just days into Trump's landslide victory, and he's already delivering big results on the border crisis. New York City Mayor Eric Adams pulling the plug on those
dude, could you imagine Sean Strickland, dude? That would be so fucking funny. Or Conor McGregor for speaker.
Cards for illegals that cost us over $50 million, and it happened just one.
Eric Adams really wants a pardon really badly from Trump.
Day after Adams had a phone call with Trump. A massive migrant caravan from Mexico made up of thousands just got cut down in half as illegals rethink their shot at coming into Trump's America. This is music to the ears of Latinos who want a tougher border and back Trump big time, giving him historic numbers for a Republican. But instead of dealing with that reality, Joy Reid's trying to shame Latino men.
Latino men who, despite the utter disrespect shown by Trump and his promise to deport some of your mixed status families, most of them voted in a 55% majority to make the deportations happen. Y'all voted with Stephen Miller and David Duke and against your own sisters and chose Kamala Harris with 60% of their votes.
Are you mad that we're not brainwashed like you?
So you own everything that happens to your mixed status families and to your wives, sisters, and abuelas from here on in.
An abuela.
Well, tell them don't come to the country illegally.
Is a grandmother in Spanish. For those, not for those of you, everybody doesn't know that. Judge Janine, they're playing the race card on themselves.
They really are.
You know what the crazy part of all this is? It's so crazy that they will use whatever mental gymnastic they had to come up with to make it negative against anyone who may have supported Donald Trump. And so what you've got are people like Joy Reid, who I think pretty much hates everybody, coming out and saying it's all your fault. Whatever happens is going to be your fault. You know what? I don't even like talking about them anymore because they represent such a small percentage of Americans. Look, it turns out that immigration was the second most important issue to voters. And to those voters who rated it the #1 issue, 88% of them voted for Trump. And those were Latinos, and they were blacks, and they were whites, and they were everybody. You know why? Because everybody is against crime. Everybody is against the country where we let people in unvetted, and we don't even look to make sure that they get arrested, that we allow sanctuary cities to exist, that we allow people like Eric Adams to give him like these debit or credit cards because he thinks it's cheaper to give them cash because they don't like the food we give them. Give me a break. And sometimes I don't like the food I cook, but I eat it. You know, and the whole thing is so crazy. We need to be a safe country. First obligation of America is to protect its citizens.
So let me ask you guys, David, Joseph, if you're still here, everybody, what do you want Trump to come in and do his first day of office? What is your expectation? Like the biggest thing you think he's going to do? Definitely. We're back. We're fucking back.
And these people are just noise in the wind. They don't matter. America has spoken. The majority have spoken. We don't want it. Deal with it.
It is pretty impressive how we're already seeing results, and he hasn't even started the transition, Greg.
Yeah, the debit card story is proof that the thought of Trump gets results. It's like, you know, when your parents go away for the weekend, so you throw a kegger. But when the adults come home, you better start cleaning up the mess, because if you don't, there will be hell to
Okay, but what do you want him to do day one, David? What's your thing you would like to see him do day one?
pay. And I think that's the way the Trump effect is. I think after Trump won, the EU just said they're buying oil from America over Russia. I wonder why. The moment the guy wins, all of a sudden, mysteriously, the bad stuff starts going away. You know, the Latino district that voted for Trump by 75% also voted for Clinton by a huge margin. I guess that's misogyny, too. I don't know. I think Joy Reid has completely lost her crap. The Latino vote is a great example, again, of a media narrative failing to have any effect on an inoculated population. The narrative stipulated that this joke by Tony Hinchcliffe was going to turn Latinos against Trump. Then Trump gets what, 45% of the Latino vote? The majority of men, largest in recent history. The Democrats somehow assumed that Latinos, they can't take a joke. Right? They also assumed people had no other concerns, you know, besides a joke. Maybe for elite Latinos on X, you know, who don't have to worry about crime or inflation.
I feel like that's already starting to happen, though, David.
Or the economy or immigration, they could get upset about a joke. But nobody bought that narrative. And I go back to what I said before. It's not about left or right anymore. It's about how the news creates narratives to brainwash you, and it's not happening.
Katie, I believe the leader of Mexico is a woman.
Yes.
I don't think Hispanics have a problem with voting a woman in office.
Exactly. Look, the identity politics, the divisive identity politics that Democrats have relied on for years and years and years are starting to come to an end. They've made all of these assumptions about people's skin color, trying to win elections by dividing people up and assuming that if you're from a certain group or of a certain gender, which lately they can't even define, that you should be voting for Democrats because Republicans are racist. Donald Trump is pulling those coalitions away from the Democrats, and they don't really have a way to make it up.
They don't know what to do. They legit don't know how to handle it.
I mean, having Joy Reid screaming about how Latinos are essentially the new white supremacists in this country isn't going to make their community safer. It's not going to make them have more money in
finish the wall. Schools ban abortion. I like it. I like it, David.
Their pocket, and they're smart enough to know that they're going to.
We need a strong economy too.
Vote on issues rather than voting on who they should be told deserves their recognition or their party affiliation.
You know what's crazy? We shouldn't even have to ban porn from schools. That should just be a thing. Like, that's like a common sense thing. It's like people lost their fucking common sense nowadays. That shouldn't even be something we should have to ban. It should just be something that's not in schools. It's fucking weird, bro.
As a result of their skin color. And they're panicking because they really don't know how to work on this, given they've relied on it so heavily to win in the past.
Harold, why don't you guys just make it easier on yourselves and claim it was rigged?
Well, that would be what you guys would do. We decided not to do that. So a couple
What do you mean by you guys?
You know what I mean. So I'd say a couple of things. You look at what I don't like about what we're doing, what Joy Reid and some other friends of mine are doing in this space. The voters have spoken.
I don't understand why, I don't even understand why we have to have that conversation. This should just be something that's known. And, it's like people are just so far gone that they just don't give a shit. And they don't know what's right and wrong anymore.
And when Barack Obama ran for president in 2008 and created these coalitions of voters, coalition of support that included Republicans, that included traditional supporters of Republican candidates for president, we were excited about it. And Republicans, I might add, the Republican Party over the last 8 years, 10 years, has really reorganized and reintroduced and reimagined itself. They're now the party of the working class. We were the party of the working class for a long time. And Donald Trump, whatever you want to say about him, his being and his political athleticism has allowed him to do that. 1 in 3 voters of color voted for Trump. He won Hispanic men by 10 points. He won voters 18 to 29 by 10 points. The way you address that is not to say to those who are 18 or 29 that you are doing something as an affront to your parents, or to say to Hispanic men you are being disingenuous to Hispanic women. No, the question is, they made a calculation that Donald Trump would do better lowering prices, securing the border, lowering crimes in their neighborhoods, making energy in America so more jobs stay in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and keeping little boys out of little girls' bathrooms and sports.
Like, these are things that every politician should run on. Why do you not want your country to be the greatest country? I don't understand it.
Those are the issues. All this other stuff we're talking about, it may make us feel good. It doesn't make me feel good going to dinner parties this way. I just walk out now, because if they don't want to get serious and honest about what happened, we're going to find ourselves in a cycle of losing. And I don't like losing. I don't like losing, not because as a person in politics, because I think when we do governing good as a Democratic Party, we do it well. But we're not doing it well right now, and we're not going to do it well if we stay focused on the nonsense and the pettiness that some are talking about right now.
You go to dinner parties and you don't even tell me about it. You know what's funny, though, for just one last thing. You know, it's not racism, it's not sexism, it's brainism. We are bigoted against people who don't have brains, which is why Joy Reid takes this so personally.
And again, abuela is grandmother in Spanish.
Thank you.
Gracias, amigo.
Yesterday, we learned paterfamilias.
Transhumanism, we just know what to say. Yeah, no, definitely. I just remember back in the days when people like that, like they were taken to mental hospitals. And
now we learned abuela.
You should try.
Now they want us to just accept it as the normal. I don't get it.
Try to work one new word in a day.
I'll see you on Monday. Up next, them still licking their wounds after Trump's ballot box blowout. And now some media folks think they need their own Joe Rogan.
Well, the liberal media is reeling after Kamala lost in a landslide, and now they're desperate for their own Democrat version of Joe Rogan. They're jealous of how President-elect Donald Trump connected with millions of young men through the popular podcast.
Don't be mad. You had your own opportunity to, Kamala.
When a man is just lost and lonely and not yet radicalized, we don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction.
Joe Rogan is the biggest audience in the country. It's disaffected, low propensity men, kind of the audience that the Harris campaign should be trying to reach.
I think all of us have to come to grips with legacy media is just not as important as it thinks it is. Joe Rogan's
10 years and now we come board. Yeah, I agree with you, brother. I agree with you.
More important than any of us.
Can't beat him in the social media game. Democrats like Van Jones are calling for the government to regulate them.
Yeah. Bro, does he not realize that Trump's back? If we get the House and the Senate, you ain't regulating shit, motherfucker. No, we're sorry. You're not going to silence us. This is socialism. These are Nazis. They want to silence us because they don't like that we have a bigger influence than them. Because nobody's into this fake, woke, progressive, liberal fucking ideology bullshit. Nobody wants it no more. It's literally a detriment to our country right now. So they're upset that we have people that just speak common sense, and the people that speak common sense gravitate more towards Trump and J.D. Vance and Vivek and Elon more than you people. And you people have had an opportunity. Kamala had an opportunity to go on there. Fetterman went on there. Fetterman's not even the greatest speaker. And he went on Joe Rogan and spoke for 2 hours. Hey, I'll commend him. I'll give him that. That's cool. But you don't need a left version of Joe Rogan. You'll never get it. You had people like David Pakman, they're losing their audience. You have people like Destiny, they're losing their audience. These beta males are nobody's going to gravitate towards them. I don't understand what these people I don't get what these people think. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero fucking sense.
Two sets of laws and rulings we have to deal with. The Supreme Court has allowed this unlimited amount of money dumping in, and then, there are legal protections that allow these companies to do what they want to and do what they will. I think in a normal country, we would say, hold on a second, maybe we need to have a different set of regulations for social media platforms now that they're this big, and maybe we need to have less money in the system. But that.
No, dude, you don't control that. That's not up to you. Don't be mad because Kamala didn't appease to her audience and Trump did. That was the movie. It's how much longer? Yeah, I know for sure. I mean, they say the Lake of Euphrates has been drying up more and more. So
That conversation is not happening yet.
Jesse, it's not like the vice president wasn't invited to do Joe Rogan, and she didn't do it.
Well, it's probably smart she didn't do it. That would have been a disaster.
They think it was a mistake.
Yeah, there were a lot of mistakes made. They keep talking about they need to find their own Joe Rogan. They had one. His name was Joe Rogan. He was a Bernie bro.
Yeah.
They expelled Rogan, Musk, and RFK Jr. out of the party, and then we're like, where'd the bro vote go? That's where it went. So if they did have a show like Rogan, what would it be called? The Status Quo Show? All they do is defend the status quo.
Yeah.
Do you know how many things are off limits in the media? You can't talk about anything. You have to defend power. You're going to listen to a show for 3 hours where they try to...
You can't say anything without somebody saying, oh, you're wrong, that's fact-checked, and you're wrong. But, like, you're like, dude, I don't care. Oh, no doubt. And if Kamala would have got in right here, bro, it'd have been game over, David. I think Trump really told him, like, you guys ain't fucking around this time. You're about to fuck around and find out. You guys think you're going to try and steal this one. Because, I mean, check this out, right? Hold on 1 second, let me find it. Hold on. Okay. Because there's this, right? Tell me how this makes sense, you guys. Tell me where's the logic in any of this. Really, what have we got? Rid of our guns, and then it would have been. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. Tell me where the logic in this is, right? I just all the logic in this doesn't make sense to me. By the way, I didn't vote in 2 of these elections. Which elections do you guys think I didn't vote in? $2020 was the steal, which would reveal eventually. No, without a doubt, 1,000%. We already know.
I will fight with every breath in my body, and I will
Which 2 do you guys think I didn't vote in?
Yeah, nigga, this war. I'm taking bodies on the floor. I'm with it all. I talk to my demons and I see the writings on the wall. Niggas is dying when it's on. I get excited for them calls. And no one ain't crying when he gone. Cause Brody was fighting for the cause.
Okay, so for all of these elections, I was eligible to vote. Which 2 do you think I didn't vote in? 2008 and 2012? No. You got one right. You got one of those right. So I didn't vote in 2004 and 2012. 2004, I didn't like Kerry or Bush, so I was like, I'm good. 2008, I voted for Obama, realized I was wrong with like 6 months into it. I didn't like Romney or Obama, so I didn't vote for either one. I did vote, but I voted for Big Bird. I voted for Big Bird in 2012. And then 16, 20, and 24, I voted for Trump all 4 times.
I do this shit for my brothers. We do this shit for each other. The whole world watching the move. So everybody see me suffer. They done JFK my demon. Now bro not breathing. Like too short. So if I tell you I love you, I mean it. I can show you the demon I seen. Cause deep inside is why I keep it. Look at the gang and I pledge your allegiance. So we don't got no secrets. I'm what they can't be.
I love it. Legit. I legit love this picture, guys.
I'm too blunt, they ain't understand me. I need help, they ain't wanna hear me. They not us, I don't want them near me, huh? You better fear me. Them niggas all frauds. Look at the scoreboard. This is all core. Nigga, I'm on board. Nigga, I'm on board and she on force. When Trump called, I was on tour. That was my winning in the Joe Laws. Ask Balenciaga with the store course.
Young and thug and I a bit west up. I'm so I don't care about death, ain't dying yet, ain't my time yet. When I go, I'ma be in the president chair. When I pull up, have your jewels tucked till I dip off the set or get hit for that. I ain't dip set, turn the camera on, all the bitches wanna take a pic yet. Thug nigga, now I'm kicking back. Drug dealer turned diplomat. Similar, I'm a project baby. I had dreams that I'm around here. The governor gave me a proclamation to my birthday to a holiday. My sniper name Mustafa gave me a letter from Arnold.
Well, yeah, I voted.
Hide the truth? It's probably the most boring thing you've ever
Every
listened
time
to.
it's
So they're not going to find their own
forward
Rogan or whatever they
2012.
want to call it until they get rid of all their stupid rules about what you're not allowed to talk about, who you have to defend. Then maybe someone will listen.
So, Harold, to Van Jones's point, I mean, can the government really regulate the Democrats into some kind of success in the podcasting radio world? I mean, they've been trying this since the 1990s with Rush Limbaugh. It didn't work. I mean, why are they calling for regulation rather than just more opinion?
So I listened back to what Van was saying. Maybe I'm a little slow, but I misunderstood what I thought he was saying about the social media platforms like Facebook and all when they are saying things about young men and young girls. I have a daughter, and I want these algorithms off the thing. So I interpreted that. Now, if he said what you're saying, I agree with you. That's not the answer. But let me step back.
Yeah, that's
I
what he was
disagree with
saying,
the
I believe.
premise. I think that I agree with the fact that Joe Rogan is more powerful in many ways in reaching voters than legacy media. I agree with the premise that legacy media has to rethink how and what they do and their importance, their self-importance. But where I disagree is that if Joe Biden had reinstituted some of the executive orders that President Trump had put in as he was trying to get a border bill, if they had ended cashless bail and increased penalties on criminals, if they had gone back to say we're going to produce more energy here after Ukraine was invaded by Russia, I think we wouldn't have been talking as much. I've said this on the show about Joe Biden's mental acuity if his policy acuity was good. So if you have good policy, you can go on any platform and talk about what you're doing, and people are going to say, you know what, I liked that politician, that man or that woman, what they're saying. So
It's
before
kinda
we
true.
get to the platforms we want to talk to and platforms we want to share our ideas with, we should get some good ideas first.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So, Judge,
don't-
one of the
they
biggest
just-
narratives of the election from the
It's just the Democrats don't have any good ideas anymore.
mainstream media, the leftist media, was that Trump is a threat to democracy. And actually, the exit polling shows that he beat Kamala Harris on that topic because people were watching and saying, actually, I think you guys are the ones who are the threat to
Yes,
democracy.
I can't wait.
And I don't know who mentioned it earlier.
Trump loves Chuck Schumer, whether he wants to admit it or not, though.
Earlier in the show, but the truth is that once they started coming after us, and as Greg talks about this Gelman effect, and we knew that we weren't what they were accusing us of, we had to then look and say, well, wait a minute, maybe he's not guilty of what they're saying about him.
Yeah.
And then when they have an open mind, they can
That's
look
true.
at things a little more objectively. But, you know, when they say they're looking for their own Joe Rogan, that's the mistake, the equivalent of Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan was in the middle.
Yeah.
He was a centrist. That's why they
He really
lost.
was.
They
Yeah.
couldn't be centrist. Everybody.
Nope, they went way, 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 way far left this time around. And most of America wasn't having it. And regardless, a majority of America, dude, I don't care. We vote fucking Republican. It's just these inner cities are so fucking filled with people that there's so many people that vote in them, dude. It's ridiculous.
Everybody had to be either right or left. We all had to be in a box. And then the box got smaller as they kept compartmentalizing us, racist Hispanics and sexist black men. But the truth is, you had a Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Biden, David, I have a theory that Biden either, him and his wife either voted for Trump or voted for him, wrote him in. I'll tell you why in 1 minute.
Who had on Bernie Sanders and Fetterman and, you know, Barry Weiss. He had everybody on.
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, Maybe this comes down to something as simple as Donald Trump is a great businessman. Donald Trump understood business, Americans, and selling. I mean, what kind of an entrepreneur, 78-year-old man who literally garnered an understanding of social media that the left could not, that, you know, he got onto TikTok and he did these rallies and he was doing podcasts and he had the Nelk brothers on his airplane. And, you know,
I mean, well, think about it, right? So they forced him out, right, David? Basically said, hey, we don't care. You're not running no more. Kamala's not running. All right. He's salty. First thing he does is he goes to that firehouse with all the firefighters where they were all wearing Trump hats. Tells the dude, here, give me your hat. I'll give you mine. And he has a presidential seal hat. Signs it, gives it to the guy. The guy jokes and says, hey, you should wear mine. He puts it on, right? Mind you, they've been calling Trump Hitler, a Nazi, a dictator. He's never going to leave office, blah, 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 blah. Right? During the Holocaust, you will not find one Jewish person wearing a swastika in a joking way. Not one. Never. I'll guarantee it. Maybe now, yeah, they'll joke about it now that it's fucking, you know, so many years later. But back in the day, no, you wouldn't have found that. So right there tells you that he's trying to sabotage her. Then he comes out and when all the stuff was happening with the hurricane in North Carolina and Florida and everything, she tried throwing a jab at Ron DeSantis and Biden blocked it and said, no, I was speaking with DeSantis the entire time. He did very, very well as governor down there and gave him his proper props, you know, which well deserved. The dude literally, I was salty when he was running against Trump because I thought it was a bad political move for him, but he does great with Florida. Dude, he's like legit, probably one of Florida's greatest governors ever. And it's because he realizes you got to do things for the people, right? So there's the second thing. Then Tony Hinchcliffe tells a joke about Puerto Rico at the thing where he said, we got a floating pile of garbage in the middle of the ocean. It's called Puerto Rico, right? Not knowing, and I didn't know, I was like, well, what made him, what's the reason? Because there's always reasons behind jokes, right? There's got to be some reality behind a joke for a joke to be funny at all. You know, or it just has to be, you know, have some comical sense to it. So I looked it up and sure as shit, Puerto Rico has a problem with garbage getting on the island and it's getting really bad there, right? So it's a joke about something reality, and that's what some jokes are meant to be. They're meant to bring light to a shitty situation and, you know, just give you a little bit of comfort about it, you know, to be able to joke about it. That's the whole point of it, right? So he does that, and he doesn't say anything about people. He just says something about the island itself. Biden comes out the next day and calls all the Trump supporters garbage. Right? You just shit on half the country. Actually, it's looking like more than half the country now. Right? But we'll say half the country. You're shitting on half the country. That's going to make people want to get out and go vote for Trump even more if they weren't going to. Right? Then he says the shit like the day before the election about how he wants to. Trump supporters are the type of guys he'd want to smack on the ass. Right? It's just all sabotage after sabotage after sabotage after sabotage. Then Joe Biden goes to vote and she's wearing a red suit. Right? I didn't see what Joe was wearing, but I seen Jill and she was wearing red. Now I know that a majority of the time when a Democrat is going to vote for another Democrat, they wear blue and sign of solidarity, you know? And she was wearing a red pantsuit. So she either voted for Trump or she wrote Joe Biden in, one or the other. regardless, I'll guarantee they didn't vote for Kamala, right? After Trump lost, the next day, Joe Biden came out and gave a speech. Dude, he was exuberant. He ran to the stage. He was smiling. He was happy. Nobody smiles and is that happy and runs to the stage the way he did that is about to give their country over to Hitler. No one. Not one person. So this makes me think that Biden, without letting anybody know, low-key helped Trump get the W. That's my theory. And he did it on purpose because he's salty that he got outed. Now, this is just my theory. I'm not saying it's 1,000% true, but this I feel like it's a very good theory.
He had the mind of an entrepreneur who took all of this stuff
It's
that was...
very odd he extended all those EOs that Trump made. Lots of surprises ahead, brother. That's true.
of his generation.
Dude, what? I mean, it's crazy. I really think Biden voted for Trump. I really do.
And he said,
and don't get me wrong, he's not all the way there. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see. I don't know. It'd be crazy if Biden voted for him. 1,000% if Biden voted for him, that would be pretty crazy.
Said, I'm going to feed into this. And with that,
yeah, but I still feel like it was inevitable, David, whether it was Biden, whether it was her. I feel like the only person that they could have put against Trump was maybe like RFK, and they're not doing that. He's not an establishment puppet. They're not going to do that.
Democrats didn't have a chance. They weren't as smart as Donald Trump was.
So, Greg, they say they're looking for their own Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan is an organic success in podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they plucked him out and said, this is your job now. This is organic. And I don't know, given their crackdown on creativity and censorship, if they can create that.
It's like somebody saying, looking over and going like, I really wish I had a happy marriage while he's a philandering. It's like you can't have, there's certain things you have to do. Jesse's right. They can't have a Rogan under the current structure of their I don't know, their conversation. Remember what they always say? Some people here on this table have said it. Not you or Jessica. They always go, but we need to have a real conversation.
Yeah.
They always say this, we need to have a real conversation. It's like, that's what we're doing right now. And you're not answering the question. And it's like, but if you want to have a real conversation, they don't want, they're like, no, you can't say that. You use the wrong pronoun. That's ants building an anthill, unaware that there's a giant, massive overpass.
Like, I can't wait to see what happens with Thomas Crooks, with all the stuff, because we don't know what happened with Trump getting shot by Matthew Thomas Crooks, and now we're going to know.
Being constructed above them. They've become so self-obsessed. They turned identity into a sexual fetish. But I want to finish with one theory. The Democratic Party and their media arm lost their muse when Musk bought Twitter. Because you have to remember, where did they get all their stories before Musk bought it? Twitter.
Your movie is really funny. It's really funny. Laughing out loud hysterically. It's one of the best comedies I've seen in a long time because there's so many moments in it that are so uncomfortable.
That means a lot. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
The Robin DiAngelo one, where you gave that guy money for reparations and you got her. She thought it was uncomfortable.
And we came up with this idea: could we get her to actually pay reparations to Ben, our black producer? And we had to kind of talk him into it. And I'm repeating back to her own ideas so she knows that I'm a safe person.
Right.
It's a safe space. And then you got to build to it and build to it and build to it. And then finally you get to a point where you can do something a little weird. And she'll probably go along with it. And
I want to watch this movie. I want to see this. That was no presidential immunity from for. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
And she did.
Crazy.
Suddenly you saw an end to cancel culture when Twitter changed hands. All the stories were being collected from the loudest accounts on Twitter. Covington Kids was Twitter generated, as was a lot of the false hate crime hoaxes. Reporters would simply get up in the morning, they would look on their feed, and they would fashion the latest outrage based on like a purple-haired cat lady's hysterical shrieking, and that would become a story. And then it would get picked up, and you would see all the Daily Beast and all these terrible little things. They'd pick up and they'd run with the story. And then the muse went away, and they're floundering. They don't even know how to do news anymore. It's hilarious.
All right, brother. Have a good night, David.
All right. Up next, more Trump victory meltdowns. Michael Cohen getting strolled with a turkey head filter.
It's not just the media that's melting down. Several U.S. universities are coddling college students who are upset over Trump's blowout victory by canceling classes, providing safe spaces, and offering treats like milk and cookies. Jesse and I would like that, as well as Lego toys and coloring and mindfulness exercises to get their minds off the election results.
They fucking children? What is wrong with these people?
Meanwhile, adult Americans are certainly very interested in moving to another country. Former Trump lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen was among them, but he has since backtracked. Viewers on his live stream weren't having it when he announced, trolling him with a turkey head filter. Watch this.
Can we stop with that? I appreciate it. I don't like the stupid turkeys. All right, let's just knock that stupid off, please. All right. I did. I said I was leaving, and then the following day, get that through your dumb heads. The following day, I turned around and I said that there's no chance in the world that I'm leaving my country. Thank you very much. All right. I'm not leaving anyway. You leave. This is my country.
You leave.
I saw Jerry Seinfeld on talking about how his kids' school were giving kids some space. I mean, I think this is silly. We live in a country where you're going to get things that happen your way and things that don't happen your way, and you got to be tough about it. Judge, what are your thoughts?
Think about how they're training young kids, even college kids, right? This is what we're training our kids. When things are bad or you don't like something, go in a corner and sulk and have milk and cookies and play with your Legos. I'm going to say one more thing.
What up, Vaughn?
Compare someone who is sulking about Donald Trump winning to the 17-year-old in Israel who joins the IDF and is handed a AK-47 or an AR-15 and goes and fights with their life for
Hey,
their
I want to show you this video. Actually, now that you're here, we were watching it earlier, but you were not in here yet. So
we did it, Joe. We got 5.
Right here. Wow.
Watch this
So this is an economic professor talking about the tariffs.
Economics professor explain Trump's tariffs.
Well, the income tax currently costs the American people $2.4 trillion a year. Trump proposes to replace it with tariffs of 20% on everybody but China, who gets an extra special 60% tariff. Altogether, that might bring in about $900 billion a year. This would grow America's economy like rocket fuel. Near term, we're talking a 20% increase in the economy, so about a $15,000 raise for the typical American family. Note that's on top of the $18,000 of income tax you would no longer have to pay. Knock off $3,000 for the tariffs, and you get about $30,000 in additional income for the typical American family, close to $3,000 per month. We might expect a doubling of annual economic growth. So 5% growth would be the new normal. Your kids would be 3 times richer than you, as it used to work in America. If we simply copy countries like Singapore, we might save around about $2 trillion or more. If a president can sell it to American voters, $30,000 is a chunk of change, Congress will go along out of sheer self-preservation. Plus, the bake sales would be lit.
That's economics professor Dr. Peter St. Onge, PhD, explaining exactly how replacing the income tax with tariffs would help all of Americans, especially middle and lower class Americans. Of course, the elite wouldn't want us getting $30,000 extra a year and securing our wealth for our children. Doesn't that sound like it would make America great again? Because that's what it sounds like to me, and if voting for Trump gives me any shot at accessing the opportunities my parents had access to, economically speaking, then yeah, I'm going to vote for him. Trump 2024.
There you go.
Trump has not even been president-elect for more
Also,
than
check this
48
out, Ron.
hours, and already all of the major wars are ending. As soon as he was elected, China released a statement saying that they stand with the people of America and they are excited to have President Trump back again. And what's insane is that we've practically been in a Cold War with China over the last 4 years. Tensions have been extremely high as Biden and Xi Jinping were barely having meetings anymore, so this statement congratulating us is a really big deal. Not to mention Hamas just called for an immediate ceasefire with Israel, and this is the first time that they have called for a ceasefire in the past year. The conflict has been a major talking point for voters everywhere, so this statement came as a complete shock as it looks like we're nearing world peace. Not to mention Vladimir Putin, who has not had anything good to say about America in the last few years, congratulated Trump as well in an interview and said that he looks forward to having his first phone call with him back as president. And let's not forget that Trump has made multiple promises that the Ukraine-Russia war will be over within 1 year of his presidency. Trump has...
No, it's going to be over sooner than that.
President Trump looked at the
Then this
Taliban
one.
leader and said this: I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be conditions-based.
We watched all these earlier. Trump ain't do nothing but Putin's. But no, I don't want to hear it, bro. If he brings peace back to everywhere, then you can't say that. You just got to accept it for what it is and say, damn, I was wrong.
And translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair...
How is he doing Putin's bidding? He's not doing Putin's bidding. Putin wanted Kamala to win so he could keep the war going. He's about to stop the war. That's not his bidding, and that's not Putin's bidding at all, actually.
hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes,
Vaughn.
And Trump goes, tell him. Tell him what I said. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home, and handed it to him.
No, I'm not.
Got up and walked out.
I'm not at all.
Do you know for 18 months not a
I am not smarter than that. Thank you for giving me more credit than I deserve, though.
single American was killed in Afghanistan?
See what The View has to say. I haven't heard them at all. They were arguing with each other yesterday, boy. I don't want to watch a full thing. It's hard to listen to for too long. Yeah, you want to watch our Girls from The View, Vaughn? I got you.
Yesterday, President Biden reminded America how the
I like to hear them argue with each other now, dude. It's so great.
democratic process.
How deep she is right now. He's spitting wisdom. Dude, look how salty fucking Joy Reid is right now. Or Joy Behar.
Why their campaign message fell on deaf ears.
Dude, not at all. Are you talking about the chick, what the fuck is her name? The press speaker?
That's right about.
Dude, I'd rather see the redheaded one. All times found not guilty, by the way.
Felon?
All those felony charges are getting dropped, so that's a lie.
Someone who has been accused of alleged sexual misconduct by 26 women.
Yeah, but you paraded Cardi B out there who fucking admitted to drugging and robbing men. But this is why Democrats are starting to turn away white people, because they're sick of hearing this shit. They're sick of we're sick of hearing we're racist and we're this and we're that. People are done with it. Like, all right, if that's what you think of us, we're not going to vote for you. We're not going to fucking represent you. You and with each other. It's fucking great. I bet you hate it, Vaughn, because these are your women. These are your chicks, huh?
The ones, they are the party that cares for the.
You love you some Joy Behar. You hang on to her ass. Yeah, but Obama also Obama also tried finding us money if we didn't have Medicare. Donald Trump got rid of that, so he took something that they did. They can say whatever they want about us. Who cares? Fuck them.
Relationships with African Americans or.
That's why people were like, oh, all these people wearing garbage bags. What is wrong with you people? Like, no, we're just showing you we don't give a fuck what you think of us. Dude, Joshua, what kind of business do you plan on owning?
So,
but you know, look, and back in, and we remember when Democrats went in the wilderness.
Get a P.O. box, start a business as a LLC, and hire yourself. These broads aren't the smartest. Vaughn loves them though, so we'll watch them. Yo, my dog Jesse does an RIP to
Did you
Peanut.
hear about this? And then I'm going right back to the phone. Did you hear about this squirrel situation? Haight was telling me about it yesterday morning at the fellowship. So I haven't seen the story yet. But may the squirrel rest in peace to Peanut the squirrel.
Yeah.
This is from NBC. Peanut the squirrel, an internet sensation that led to an animal sanctuary.
You watch JLP?
I don't even understand this. Peanut the squirrel, an internet sensation that led to an animal sanctuary in Pine City, New York, was euthanized after being seized with a raccoon. Watch this from NBC. Maybe you'll get it. NBC.
Longo says he was blindsided on Wednesday.
Why do you not like Trump so much then?
Wednesday morning when agents from the State Department of Environmental Conservation came looking for his famous squirrel.
I was just going through my daily routine of feeding all of our 71 rescue horses at our nonprofit Animal Rescue. Midway through that, a line of DEC officers, about 6 to 8 of them, showed up and gave me a warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon.
The search warrant said Longo was in unlawful possession of wildlife. He says agents ransacked his property for 5 hours until...
I can't believe they made it that serious of a thing, bro. No, you're not. You're fucking... You're not smart. It's quite not smart of you to say.
So they found Peanut and Fred the raccoon.
We complied. We weren't allowed to move. We were police escorted into the bathroom. Mind you, this is a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And I feel like this was a little bit of an overkill.
Longo says he was working on the necessary paperwork to be able to legally own Peanut as an educational animal.
You're not only hurting my family by taking Peanut away from me, but you're also hurting the organization that we started on the back of a rescue squirrel.
That's awesome,
we named
Joshua.
this organization Peanut's Freedom Farm
Hell yeah,
because
brother.
he
Sky
is
is the
such
limit.
a big portion of my life and so many people around the world. You know, we promoted the fact that squirrels are not good pets. They don't deserve to be inside, but there are rare occasions where you stumble on an animal that unfortunately can't survive in their normal habitat. That's the only reason why Peanut was ever a rescue animal.
So apparently, according to this story, this guy rescue animals, right? I thought animal people love that. And so I guess something wrong. Is something wrong with rescuing squirrels or something?
Well, so I heard a bit about this story, and I wondered, well, what's the
I'm not getting
details
what
of the other side, but we just got a little tidbit there. That's
Oh.
my first hearing of it, where he said that he was working on the paperwork to legally own the squirrel. So it looks like he may have had the squirrel in some kind of gray area, and I heard that it was called in by somebody. Somebody complained about it.
Oh,
and
about
that's
him
how they
having a
got-
squirrel?
Exactly.
And you're not allowed to just go out in the wood, get yourself a squirrel, keep it at the house.
I bet you it changes in different areas of the country, but
What the?
there may be laws against that.
Well, here's
Let's
more
go.
on Peanut.
What kind, Joshua?
Rise to fame and
I'm not gonna lie, Joshua. It's been kind of nice not gaming lately. I haven't gamed in since last week.
complaint leading to Peanut's euthanization. Watch this.
Longo says he
From
rescued
NBC.
Peanut 7 years ago in New York City after the squirrel's mom was hit by a car. He says he rehabbed Peanut and tried to release him into his backyard. But Longo says Peanut never developed the instincts to survive outside. After Peanut was attacked by an animal and lost half his tail, Longo let Peanut live in his home.
And then he became best friends with my cat. So that's when we turned to social media. We put some funny and silly videos out there, and the internet loved him. He became the world's most famous squirrel.
Peanut racked up a combined 3 million followers on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Longo says he believes Peanut's fame led to someone filing a complaint.
I'm no expert in anything involving politics of the state, but they sent 6 to 8 officers to my house from Albany to confiscate a squirrel and a raccoon, and it was signed off on a search warrant.
Wow.
So
What the
just that.
fuck is that? 6 to 8 officers for a raccoon and a squirrel?
That in its sense, to say that is one of the most shocking things I could say, in my opinion, is we just used resources and spent an entire day sitting 2 people who run a nonprofit animal rescue and treat them like criminals.
Oh, so they can't send all those officers to arrest the people who are breaking in your homes, your
Right, but they can send them for fucking some animals.
stealing, your stuff, but they can send them for a squirrel? Raccoon, if it's
Right, like what the fuck?
true. What the? So I'm being told some animals are illegal to have as pets. I wonder why the squirrel is illegal.
Just a squirrel.
So this guy would have Peanut on his podcast, I guess, and now Peanut gone. May Peanut soul rest in peace. You can pray for Peanut anymore. He gone.
Okay. Doesn't he have a TikTok now?
888-7. What a mess, huh?
So according to California Public Health and Safety, you're not allowed to have squirrels because they carry diseases transmissible to humans, such as rabies and typhus.
I thought squirrels don't have rabies because they're a certain, like, warm-blooded or cold-blooded or something. I thought that was the reason. Nice. What do you mean? Yeah, but you do realize the Democrats have been trying to get TikTok banned. So maybe Trump didn't know if it was good or bad. You know, maybe he just heard people telling him, like, hey, this isn't good, and then he's seen for himself, like, oh, it's not as bad as you think. Who knows, though? Who knows? I don't know. I know a lot of people that make money on TikTok, so.
In case you were wondering.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
No, I was just looking it up that in California, for example, the public health and safety says you can't have squirrels because they carry diseases transmissible to humans, such as rabies and typhus.
Oh. That's amazing. So they look like they took Peanut's life. Why didn't they, if it's true, why didn't they just go there and tell the man, give me Peanut? We're not going to raise your house. We're not doing, we seen Peanut on your podcast.
Give me Peanut.
Instead of raiding the guy's house. What a mess.
That's so funny.
Let me go to Gary, our first time call out of California.
Yeah.
Gary, welcome to the show.
I mean, you're the one that don't want the tears all quick. Get a streaming app, bro.
You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. What a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Thank you.
I can't tell you how much you've helped me in my life, but especially the last couple of years.
Definitely.
I
true,
lost my
Joshua.
son to fentanyl about 2 years ago.
How old are you?
And he was 27.
May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you. And I'm sober, and I got sober a few months before that happened. And I remain sober. I'm still sober, but I was having such a hard time with the guilt. Like, you know, I didn't do things right. You know, every parent makes a ton of mistakes raising their kids and everything.
You guys, you know, I lost my brother to fentanyl.
And
I'll tell you guys about a story when I was in Florida after this.
what had happened was I started listening to you, and I forgave my parents. I did the silent prayer. And when I forgave my parents, I realized that because I realized that they did the best they could, and I really realized that in my heart. Because I've got good, I know you say nobody's good, but I got good parents, you know. But
what the?
What the? So I was thinking, you know, man, I look back and I did the best I could at the time with my son.
Yes.
And I started to cut myself a lot of slack.
Right on.
And that guilt would keep me in bed sometimes for days, like, 6 months to a year later.
Yeah.
And once I started to forgive myself, I forgave my parents, I forgave myself, and I've been free, man. Here's the thing that's bothering me lately,
yes.
right? I've been really judgmental on a good friend of mine, and I can realize that it's my ego because I'm watching him blow up his life through his thoughts. I used to have these thoughts and I would follow them, like, oh, you need a girlfriend. And then I would go out and search for a girlfriend, and then it would be like the wrong woman.
Yep.
And I'm watching him just implode his life. And he asks me, what should I do? And I try to tell him to listen to you. He's watched you a couple times, but he doesn't listen. And I'm watching his life just get worse and worse and worse because he listens to every thought. And I'm really judgmental. Like I'm like, I don't even want to call him anymore because he's not. It's like he's not listening.
Yeah.
And I care about him, but I don't want to be judgmental because I know that's just my ego.
JLP has no kids, and that's okay nowadays. JLP isn't gay. He has kids. He has a son.
Right.
But it's like I'm stuck there. I've been stuck there for a couple weeks now. Very judgmental. And how do I get through that?
By just watching those thoughts. Just watch. Now that you're aware that those thoughts are trying to make you judge, just know that it's not you. And when you speak to him, do not give him any advice unless he asks for it. And then you give him your best advice. And if he doesn't take it, be done with giving him advice and just let him suffer.
Yeah, JLP has a kid and a grandkid.
Or
maybe multiple grandkids. I don't know.
Has a right to live a screwed up life. And you don't have a right to try to do anything about it.
It's true.
Right.
That's legit how I am with people, bro. Like, I don't judge people. Live their life how you want. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, just let him suffer. He has a right to be wrong. And if you notice, God leaves him right in his hell, in his misery, and God let him pick the wrong woman every time, let him make the wrong decisions every time, because God is not going to interfere with anyone that doesn't want to change. So you should be the same way. Don't judge him. He loves his misery.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to be miserable anymore.
Right.
I don't want that misery anymore.
But he does, though. It sounds.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you guys my little story, right? So my brother passed away from fentanyl in 2020 or 20. I can't remember. Fuck. Hold on, give me 1 second. I might be no. Whatever. It's either 28 or 2021, right? So my cousin was up here living with him. Unfortunately my cousins passed away as well. But my brothers went back and lived with my mom for a little bit, So my cousin was there too. My cousin's on drugs. I didn't even really know my brother was doing drugs like that. But, to each his own. I didn't care. We had our disagreements and everything, but like over the years we definitely became cooler, but we were never like super close, So my cousin was in Florida before he came up here to Ohio. So, I didn't feel like my mom deserved to have that on her with, my brother just passing away. I don't live with her. So with my brother passing away and all that, I just felt like it was more necessary to get that away. So, I set up a thing to take him back down to Florida to his dad's house, and basically me and my friends, we rented a van, dropped him off in Daytona, and then we went to Miami for the weekend. We're like, hey, we're in Florida. we might as well go do something. We rented a minivan, by the way. Um, so my one friend, he wanted to shoot a music video. So we were messing around. We were down in like right on like the close to the beachfront of Miami, and uh I'm just like filming. We're filming shit. This cop pulls up and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And you know what? We told him like, "Hey, we were down here. And then I'm telling him my story. What up, Lou? I'm telling him my story about my brother just passed away from fentanyl. We were bringing my cousin down here, so then we came to Miami for the weekend just to go on a little vacation, and then we were going to go home." And he starts telling me how his son had just passed away from fentanyl as well, more recently. So, the cop was like, ended up being like super fucking cool with us. Like, we had like that little connection where, like, he was like, all right, we were cool. Dude, this cop took my friend, took me and my friends to like a $5 million home right on the water in Miami, right? And told my friend, he said, if you want, you could shoot a video here if you want. He was like, I know the owners, they're out of town right now. If you want to get a couple shots, go ahead. And my friend didn't take advantage of it, but it was still like cool as fuck that this cop just decided to like, randomly take us to this house, not knowing who we were. My friend's all nervous, like, oh, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna kill us? I'm like, dude, he's a fucking cop, bro. I'm like, calm down. And it was just a really cool story. Also, that was the first time I ever flew, right? So my other friends ended up being down in Miami the same time that we were down in Miami, which was like weird. We didn't plan it or anything. They were flying back home the next morning, and we were going to have to drive home. So we end up, because it was during the scamdemic, so we ended up finding plane tickets for really cheap, for like $50 or something like that. So, and we ended up getting on the same plane as them and everything. We find a place. We call the company to see how much it costs to keep the van down there instead of driving it back, and it ended up being like $500. So we each spent $125. So we spent $175. Mind you, I'd never flown before. I'm not the biggest person with heights, so this is my first time ever flying. I figure what better way to do it than I just go home. I don't have to worry about, if I don't like flying, I don't have to get on a plane ever again. I'm already home. I don't have to worry about it. But I actually don't mind it. I almost got kicked off of was it United Airlines? Yeah, I almost got kicked off of United Airlines for life. I ended up getting on the news right after I got off my flight, and like they literally put me like right on Fox News, dude. It was so funny. So I almost got kicked off my flight because, like I said, it was during the scamdemic and they wanted us to wear masks. On this plane, it was me and my friend sitting next to each other. This Arabic kid in front of us, nobody in his row, nobody in front of him, nobody in front of that, maybe like two people, nobody in front of that, like literally next to us, my friend Mike, and then some random chick, nobody in front of them. My friend Jeff's laid out across all the seats, and that's it, just him sleeping. So there was nobody on this flight. This lady literally kept fucking with me about my mask, right? And she even got to the point to where she threatened me and said that she will get me kicked off of United Airlines for life if I don't put my mask on. So you know what I did? I took my bottle of water, I took my mask down. Mind you, I didn't even have like a regular mask. It was like a cloth one that I bought from the store. So I took my mask down and I just put the bottle of water next to my face the whole time. And every time she walked past me, I'd just take a sip of it. And she couldn't say nothing to me after that, right? She was so fucking pissed. They didn't kick me off or anything, but she was pissed. So then we get off the plane and we go down there, and Fox News is outside interviewing people about like the regulations of the flights and shit. So I got on there and I was like, I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, why can I go to a restaurant and sit down and take my mask off, but I get on a plane and sit down and I can't take my mask off? I was like, there's no logic to that. I was like, not only that, the air's clean on the plane. So I don't understand what the purpose is. You know what I mean? Like, and my friend tried saying some shit and they ended up putting mine on the news, like right on prime time, and didn't even put his on at all, and he was fucking salty, dude. It was crazy though. It was like, it was a different experience, you know. It was really crazy. Not only that, the night that we were getting ready to leave, because we said, you know what, we had like a 6 a.m. flight or something like that. So we're like, we'll just stay up all night and we'll go and we'll just drive there, right? Right before we're getting ready to leave, my friend Jeff can't find his ID nowhere. Flipping the fuck out, blah, 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 can't find it. We end up finding it. This dude speeds like crazy to get there. Mind you, we still have to turn the van in because we're not driving it home. We're taking a flight instead. Bro, he's doing circles. He did like 125 to get there. Doing circles like 80 miles an hour around the airport trying to figure out where we have to take it. Finally, we stop. I'm like, dude, chill out. We asked some fucking a security guard where the place is, and she takes us right to it. We end up missing our flight because our original flight was on Spirit. So we missed our flight, so we had to buy tickets for United Airlines, actually. So it was like another $75 we had to spend all because we missed our initial flight. It was fucking ridiculous.
Don't judge him. He has a right to be that way. And if you don't feel like talking to him, you don't have to. But just don't judge him. If you want to talk to him, talk to him. Don't judge him. But
right, because I was the same way. I was exactly the same way. That's why him and I got along so well. We would laugh at stuff like that, like laugh at our stupid mistakes over and over again in life.
Yes.
And I can see a big change in myself.
So
I'm starting to change.
Be grateful that you can see and wish him well, but do not try to force anything upon him. Don't give him any advice unless he asks. And then if he asks, but and then he doesn't take it, then you stop giving him advice. Don't give him any more.
Okay, that's where I'm at now. I just gotta, because he asks, but then, you know, he actually gets upset with me.
Why?
You know, because he says I don't believe in that Jesse Lee Peterson stuff. You can believe in it. I don't believe in it.
So then
I said, okay, well,
right. So then, okay, don't ask for advice then. I won't give you any advice.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I got to tell you, thank you.
You're welcome. And watch those thoughts that try to, because it's the thoughts that try to put him down in your imagination. Say, oh, look at him. He's still this. He's still that.
And they're not my thoughts.
Right. They're not your thoughts at all. Not one iota. And then the thought.
I have to be reminded that.
The thought give you things to think about concerning him. And then the thought tell you, oh, you're judging him. You look at you. You think you're better. You're judging him.
Right.
But so you're still believing those thoughts. They're not real. They're lying to you.
Right. Okay.
As long as you're not angry at him, the sign of judgment is when you're angry at someone for the way they are, or they don't want the truth, or this and that. If you become angry at a person for being what they are, then you're judging. But to think about it, those are thoughts. That's not you.
Okay. Okay.
What a mess!
What a mess. You brought so much joy into my life and so much peace. I can't tell you. I'm a truck driver, so I've got you on 3 hours a day, every day.
I appreciate it.
And then I listen to church on Sunday. So,
right on.
Well, you're awesome, Jesse. Thank you.
You stay with it. I cannot find the words to express to you the joy, the perfect peace that will come upon you if you stay with this. You stay with the prayer. You watch the thoughts. If you catch yourself lost in a thought, don't judge. Just come back to the present. Realize, oh, I was in a thought. No big deal.
Right.
If you have to do that 1,000 times a minute or a day, if you just stay with it, there are no words to express the joy, the peace that will overtake you, the simplicity to life that would naturally overtake you, and you will live through it, and you will have nothing to do with it, but it will have control of you.
No, that's great to know. I've had glimpses of it since I've been listening to you and since I did the silent prayer and forgave my parents.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had moments of that peace. But I want to thank you. I can't thank you enough. So
you're welcome.
And what you teach works so well.
What up, Lou? How you doing, brother?
The program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Like what you teach.
Nice.
It works so well.
Right on.
So thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome, Gary. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. No matter what. If the whole world turn against you, if your wife, your kids, your mama, your cat, your dog, everybody turn against you, you stay with it. They can help themselves.
I will.
All right.
I guarantee it. I'll check in with you later.
Absolutely. Take care, buddy.
Jesse.
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
There we go. Let's see how the house is looking. I wonder if they have the results in it. Dude, there's still no fucking results. What is going on? What we at? It's not 2. How come there's like I don't understand why there's different numbers on different places. Like this, I don't get it, dude. This is 212 to 200. All right, we got Max Miller in there, Jim Jordan, 1 overwhelmingly. Nice, we did get Max Miller in there though, so that's good. Okay, so there's still what, 1? I don't know. I mean, regardless, it's going to be Republican. This is looking like they're going to be. Damn, Washington's going straight blue almost, except for 2. This is still in the air, but it looks like it's going towards the Democrats. So this could go Republican, Democrat. This is looking more Republican, Democrat. Damn, we could get 3 seats in California, mate. Wait, hold on. 4, 5. Damn, we could get 5 seats in California. Still one more seat open in this, and it's close. Oh, wow, that's close. Still a little close. Oh, that's not even close. It looks like that's going Democrat. This is still close because it's less than a percentage. 95. It looks like, yeah. It looks like this is going Republican right here. Looks like this is leaning Republican. Okay. Well, that's good.
Amazon early holiday deals are here.
All right, so it's looking good. It's looking like we could. I don't know what fucking map to believe though, because why are all these maps so much different? Like, look, this was the road to 270 to win. They're saying it's 207 to 210 on the Democratic side. I don't. How? I don't know which map to. This is so stupid.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. So I guess you could say it was best case scenario. I was pretty close in my prediction, but I was really trying to temper expectations. How I truly felt was Donald Trump was going to get over 300 electoral votes, and I even said that in my prediction video. That's how I really felt. But I dialed it back a little bit, and I gave Kamala Harris Michigan, even saying in the video that I'm going to do it out of charity, just because the polls seem to reflect something, and, you know, Michigan's a little bit of an interesting state. Let's just leave it at that. Like I said, I tempered my expectations, but it ended up being the elections of our wildest dreams.
Yep.
Best case scenario. And what's funny is that it pretty much played out exactly as I expected. The main issue for Democrats was lack of enthusiasm. They just couldn't get people to show up to vote for Kamala Harris. Meanwhile, Donald Trump maintained his floor and ended up picking up some extra voters. In other words, the Trump train continued to chug along quite nicely, I must say. And now the Democrats are stuck picking up the pieces, wondering what went wrong, and realizing just how bad it really is or really was for them. And I'm saying that specifically to set up this video because that's exactly what I want to delve into, just how bad Kamala Harris's performance was. This was a legendary flop, an electoral failure of epic proportion. Let me show you guys what I mean by that. Let's have that conversation. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I first want to start off with this clip right over here because I think it's really going to set the tone for the video. I'm going to play it without explanation. Just take a look.
This is Trump overperforming his 2020 performance by 3% or more.
That's wild.
This is a statewide look. We're not done with some of these counts out here, so this will change a little bit. But Donald Trump overperforming 2020 after January 6, 2021. That's the statewide look. Look at this. Just look at this when you go to full counties. Look at how many counties across America, 994 of the 4,000 plus, 4,600 plus counties and townships, especially up this way, part of the country, they don't call them counties, they call them townships, but in nearly 1,000, 993 right now. This will change as we go through, but Donald Trump is overperforming. But just look at Battleground, Pennsylvania. Look at all these red counties, places that Trump wins, where he's overperforming by 3% or more what he did in 2020. Then you come out here, let's go up to Battleground, Michigan. These are the decisive states left on the board right now. Look at in the areas, those are his base areas. He's getting more. The same over here in Battleground, Wisconsin. So the former president of the United States, given up for dead, Jake, after January 6, 2021, is running stronger now than he did in the last campaign. Are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more.
The entire map is gray. I mean, that's truly astonishing. Kamala Harris underperformed in every single state, in every single county. She didn't get a better result than Joe Biden did anywhere. Literally nowhere. In not one place in the country. Holy moly, there's just something so satisfying about that. Especially after the months of gaslighting. You know, Kamala Harris was supposedly this big upgrade, but I guess the nation didn't really see it the same way now, did they? I guess they didn't fall for the obvious propaganda. And the craziest part is that Kamala Harris spent over $1 billion in campaign funds for this, for a fully gray map. It's just unbelievable. You know, I think this might have been the red tsunami that we were waiting for. And you know what I've been thinking about a lot lately is I know 2020 sucked. That was a horrible election, and obviously there was irreparable damage that was caused to the nation during that time. But in the end, it might have been a bad for a good, let's just say. Because the end result is this. 4 years of Joe Biden, followed by a DNC coup, and then installing Kamala Harris as their presidential candidate, woke people up like nothing I've ever seen. This is a political awakening. This is a movement. And it's a movement that at this point, I don't think can be stopped. I think the Democrat elite are stumped. They're probably in the back room scratching their heads wondering, what do we do? I mean, they lost everything. The presidency, the Senate, and the House. A total clean sweep across the board. And it's now looking like Republicans are going to pick up 54 seats in the Senate. It's basically back to 2016, except this time the Republican Party is unified like never before. The Never-Trumpers, the neocons, the rhinos have largely been forced out of the party. It's now a new Republican Party, plus Team Unity, going into 2024 with a clear mandate. Reform, fix this broken country and system. An absolute red wave, and in a way, it's thanks to Joe Biden, both directly and indirectly. Indirectly, just because he's the worst president of my lifetime, and directly, because if you think about it, he worked to get Donald Trump elected. It was clear that Joe Biden was hell-bent on sabotaging Kamala Harris's campaign. I I mean, I actually think that Joe Biden and Jill Biden didn't vote for Kamala Harris. You may think that's crazy. There's no way.
Too.
I'm not so sure. We even saw some reports from White House insiders, from Jack Posobiec, suggesting that Jill Biden didn't vote for Kamala Harris, but rather she wrote in her husband Joe. The Democrat Party fell apart. They spent $1 billion for this, for the worst showing you could possibly have imagined. So many states flipped, and not just states, but counties. I mean, look at this. Bucks County went red. That's insane. Donald Trump won one of the Philadelphia suburbs. Or maybe you could argue Kamala Harris lost it. I mean, for Pete's sake, Donald Trump almost won Flint, Michigan. That is wild. Basically, across the board, Trump made incredible gains. And the Democrat Party, like I said earlier, is stuck picking up the pieces. They don't know what to do. And like I keep saying, it feels like they're going through the 7 stages of grief. Although I say the 7 stages of grief, I mean the first 4. We know that the Democrats aren't really interested in the whole guilt, depression, and acceptance phases. They like to stick in these first 4 on repeat in a loop, over and over again. Shock and disbelief, denial, anger, bargaining. Going in circles nonstop. They just don't know what to do. They can't believe it.
I mean, there's a shift right, and then there's a shift to Trump. And shifting to Trumpism. And, you know, I'm looking at a lot of things, especially after David talked about looking at counties and, you know, how Trump is gaining on what he did in 2020. And to me, I'm mystified in some ways, simply because we're talking about a twice impeached, 4 times indicted, convicted on 34 felony counts, former president. I am mystified that despite all of that, he's gaining support compared to 2020. And it gets back to something I said earlier at some point, one of the hours ago, that who are we as a country? And we're starting to find out. And from what I'm seeing right now, I'm not sure I like it.
How could anybody vote for a convicted felon? The J.N. Seltzer Des Moines, Iowa Register poll. Alan Lichtman and his keys, the keys.
But that's the secret of the keys. They're totally nonpartisan. And unlike any other system, they're based on how American presidential elections really work as votes up or down on the strength and performance of the White House party, not on all the talking points on both sides of the campaign. And the keys gauge that. And the way it works, if 6 or more of the keys go against the White House party, they're predicted losers. Fewer than 6, they're predicted winners. And this has worked for over 40 years. Maybe have just outlived every other forecaster.
So, and you are sticking right now that the keys predict that Vice President Harris wins the election in 6 days.
That's right.
The keys are never supposed to be wrong. I mean, these people actually thought they were going to win. Kamala Harris hadn't even prepared a concession speech.
Richmond to tell everyone to go home, and she would come back and talk tomorrow. So today I've been talking to campaign officials, and they tell me that she's been working on her
He was wasted. She just couldn't go out there.
concession speech, but that she hadn't spent a lot of time on a concession speech because she was thinking that she was going to be delivering a speech about uncertainty and people waiting for the vote totals. So this is a speech that she really had to put together today, and there's just a lot of, I think, hand-wringing and a lot of questioning now in the Democratic Party about where they go from here.
If you could believe that one, I certainly can't. They weren't ready because they had their heads stuck in the sand, and they didn't see this coming. This. Look at this beautiful graphic. Red arrows as far as the eye can see. A near nationwide red shift. They kept trying to call it a red mirage, but it was anything but. And I could sense it early on. People got a little bit frustrated with me on X because I called the election hours before the networks made it official. But personally, I saw what was going on. And I just trusted my gut and my instinct, and I went with it. And I called the election 3 hours before Fox News made it official. You could just tell that the left was coping as the night was going through. Ohio had already been called, but NBC was reporting that Kamala still has a chance in Ohio. Most of the vote coming from the metro areas hasn't come in yet, and it's going to save Kamala Harris. They were saying the same thing with Philadelphia. But if you were paying attention to what was happening, it was clear that this time they had counted the mail-in ballots and early ballots first, and what was being dropped on the night of, what was being added to the tally were election day votes, and they were splitting decisively for Donald Trump. And so while the left was coping, suggesting that all the ballots that are going to be coming in here are going to be helping
They didn't know what was happening.
Kamala, the exact opposite was true. And all those big metro areas just kept getting redder and redder and redder. I mean, to really put it into perspective, look what happened in Dearborn, Michigan. Joe Biden won Dearborn by 77 points. You heard that right, 77. But the 2024 result was Trump plus 7. Just incredible. And look what happened in Florida and Texas. Democrats were expecting these states to be within 5 points. Trump won each by over 10. Red Mirage, my you-know-what. This was a red wave for the history books. And now the Democrats are in a tough position. You know, like I said, they're stuck in this endless loop, the first 4 stages of grief. The question is, are they going to get to the point of acceptance? Are they going to realize that they essentially soiled the bed? I guess time will tell. For now, let's just let them cope, let them seethe, let the delusion play out, because of course it's content. Let's just give them a little bit of space, shall we? And see if they can figure it out. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the DNC power players ran this party into the ground, and it's no surprise why. You can no longer run elections on deception, lies, fear-mongering nonsense, calling your opponents Hitler, or telling people that they have to vote for you because a celebrity told them to, or because of the color of their skin or their genitalia. That era of politics is over, done with, and it's time to move on. Let's just see if the Democrats can make that step. Come on, you guys can do it. Oh, you poor little Democrat babies. Holy friggin' moly, let's just play that first clip again.
Are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally
Nothing.
not one
Literally
county?
nothing.
By 3%
Nothing.
or more.
You love to see it. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next.
Let's see. Anything new? So I'm so confused. Why did this just do that?
Back just like that. Our original recipe is back. Back just like that. Churches.
Brand new Bangin' I Am Rapport Stereo podcast is live. My podcast. I am breaking down 4,080 reasons why Kamala lost and the Democrats got wiped out. Number 1, denial. You're talking now about Kamala ran a perfect campaign. She lost. She lost. You have to give constructive criticism. She lost. It wasn't perfect. It was a Caesar salad, Greek salad, word salad, pile of bullshit. The only time she spoke clearly with a point of view, whether you liked it or not, was with Brett Baier on Fox News and during the debate with Trump. Those are the only 2 times during her campaign that she had a strong, clear point of view, whether you liked it, didn't like it, or agreed with it, or didn't agree with it. She didn't run a perfect campaign. Constructive criticism, rule number 97 as to why she and the Democrats lost. The sky is green economy. You can't tell me the sky is green when I see that it's good morning blue. You can't tell me that shit. You cannot tell me.
Bro, he is so goofy. Alright, guys, I'm going to end the stream on that note. I really appreciate you all stopping by and hanging out tonight. We'll see you guys later. Peace.